Hey Scorpios, welcome back. All right, family. So, as you know, God has really been telling us that it's time for us to truly start diving into our reading and stuff. And I feel like, this is just not just a channel on spiritual growth, but it's about truly being enlightened, truly being educated in all aspects. That's one thing about the spiritual realm. It does cover all aspects of life, and because Spirit has been wanting us to start reading more, what I've decided to do was each day I was going to start reading on a book, and I was going to read it with you because shoot, some people don't like to read, and I do say you need to get an audible, but also I feel like this helps me truly stick to the plan. All right, so the next book that we are the first book that we actually completed was the Four Agreements. You could actually go back and check those out. I think we finished that within 4 days. And now the next book that we are going to be diving into is How to Be a God. All right. All of these books you can Google them. You should be able to find them on either Amazon or any of your Noble books. But this is the book we're going to be starting on. Now, I'm going to just do the introduction in the preface, and then tomorrow I will start hitting different chapters. So, with that being said, let's get started with the intro. Okay, introduction. In today's modern world, we're taught to be all that we can be. We're not taught and encouraged as much to be all that we desire to be. When you think about how we're living in a world where people in power ponder over what they decide and then tell you that you can be, we can begin to understand why some people accepted dying enslaved in poverty and believing they were a born sinner. Some people accept the ideology of others, the laws that govern, but into place. The education awards to them, the religious they were given, the stereotypes placed upon them, and the conditions they are born into. When you accept being all that you're told you can be, is it really up to you who you will become? While some people accepted living and dying enslaved, others never strived to move out of poverty stricken neighborhoods because they were told that their kind wasn't wanted elsewhere or strive for better jobs, etc. There were others who defied the odds. While many people accepted being told what they could be, others had their own visions of what their destiny would result in. Born in to slavery, many men, women, and children escaped and died in freedom. There were even those who chose death over enslavement. While many people truly believed that there would never be a Black president in the United States of America, that was Barack Obama who believed otherwise. Many people who end up rich and successful have grown up in poverty, refusing to accept their status quo of their past. People who were convicted of felonies and told by society that they will always be a criminal later became preachers, saving others and leading them to Christ. Born into a world of stereotypes, which relies heavily on statistics, many already have our destiny predicted for us. We are told to be all that we can be. However, this doesn't mean that you cannot nor should not strive to be more. If you are healthy, free, wise, and disciplined, your destiny is in your own hands. You have all the tools one could ever need to be great. Many of us are raised in religious homes, others not so religious, yet still taught to put our faith in a God and to hope that our prayers get answered. Don't take matters into your own hands, just pray. We're told what Okay, with that in mind, take this into consideration. The oldest record religion, Islam, is just over 4,000 years old, but the oldest known existence of the human species is between 5 million, 7 million years old. Now ask yourself, who were these earlier humans praying to for all those years before religion was formed? Take religion out of it for a minute, and you must know that there are times in life when you are the one who controls the next move. There's no one to force you, nor whisper instructions in your ear for you to make the best choices for yourself. In these moments, you must decide: are you going to do what you've been told that you can do, or will you do what you can do? In some instincts, these decisions can result in freedom or imprisonment, saving someone or letting someone else die, and even in some cases, it can be between life and death for yourself. During ancient times, emperors strived to be gods and goddesses. Different religions teach about there being more than one god. Different cultures embrace the idea of being a deity. In Western culture, we all are not privileged to be taught that we can be more than what we are told that we can be, or the servant to the God of someone else. Many of us fall short of reaching our potential because the person we desire to be, being a blessing to others and controlling our own destinies, because we have more faith in outside sources than we do in ourselves. This book is intended to provide you with keys to reach your pinnacles, which is to be a god goddess. Straight to the point facts. This information is blunt and free of trickery. Much of the content is basic knowledge, which we choose all. However, chess is basic. Game pieces which move on a board in certain directions. The difficult and interactiveness comes into play. When you begin to play with wisdom and your opponent does the same, living life could be considered a basic task. But to win in the game of life, your actions will have to be based off of more than knowledge. This book is divided into 4 easy to read parts, entailing the steps required to be a god. Within each part is different keys. After reading each key, you will be given simple tips that, when embraced and practiced, will result in the desired effects of each key given. You will not only be given tips to prove that you're a god, goddess in the eyes of others, you will also be given tips to prove to yourself that you have the characteristics to be a god in your own eyes. They say we are born sinners, but they never said we can't die as gods. It says, forgotten calls. My calls to your God are still on call waiting. Over time, I realized I don't have time to be patient. I was told, pray for a better day to come. But by the time that better day had already made it, the better day had came and gone. On the rainy days, I was hoping for another. It became hard to think that you, God, could afford to bless me with the meal when he'd already gave his son his last supper. My calls to your God were still on call waiting. I had to heed. I had to head out and bless myself. Grew tired of being stagnant. I told Jesus I could take the wheel because I can do bad all by myself. Holy Communion, some Sundays, that little cracker was all I ate, but I don't hold grudges. These days, I still place blessings on the collection plate. Poem by Awad, which is the author. Okay, that was the introduction. Now we're going to do the preface. All right. Within this philosophical title, I'm right to say that right. The phrases a god and goddess is used in reference to a supreme being who controls his or her own destiny. The phrase a wholesome God is in reference to a supreme being who through compassion for others contribute to their success, survival, and happiness. These individuals contribute to society, and those within their immediate circle opposed to simply themselves. It says the most obvious difference between these two terms is that while a god can be selfish, individuals and perhaps even hated by most due to their displays of compassion for others, wholesome gods are accepted, respected, and admired by the multitude. Acknowledged for one's powerful influence, a god is a respected leader who conquers things he or she pursues. While they may lose a battle, in the end, chances are that they may win the war. A god is one who depends upon no one but himself, herself for success and utilize wisdom to prevail. While they may accept assistance and be a team player, a God understands and accepts the responsibility or burden, some may say, of being in control of the outcome. Whether it is a win or a loss, a God accepts that it is due to their own actions performance. For those who dislike having their destiny determined by the actions of others, the role of a God is ideal for them. An individual's motives for becoming a god varies between being egotistical, sincere desire to help others, spiritual reasons, desired status, respect, prestige, and influence, etc. For the corrupt local leaders around the world, the president's legendary athletes, the preachers, the gang leaders, the Buddhists, etc., they all have their own personal motives. However, the one thing that these individuals and any other individual who strives to be a supreme being has in common is that their desire to control their own destiny. This is the common denominator which links them. By you choosing to study this title, you have indicated some interest in being a supreme being. You have already taken a step in the direction of controlling your own destiny, for it starts with you taking the initiative to study the path, studying and practicing the four essential keys parts within this title. You will reach your pinnacles, developing the characteristics required of any supreme being. The objective of this collection of teaching how to be a god is to provide the necessary tools that's required for you to be at your best, to reach your pinnacles, reach a level of spiritual enlightenment, attain success, and control your own destiny. Be self-sufficient, be wise, have compassion for others, and carry yourself as a god is the four essential steps to being a god. Be self-sufficient. It says, he who gives you the tools to survive is your savior. He who guides you throughout your journey is your leader. He who can run the longest and goes the furthest, the one who is independent, is in control of their own destiny. Being a supreme being starts with you having the ability to survive on your own. Being able to survive independently leads you to being capable of being independently successful. Mastering this essential element will give you the self-confidence and confirmation of a supreme being. The process of being self-sufficient is ultimately the beginning stages, the birth of a god. It says being self-sufficient will empower you, setting you free of the restraints that is placed upon those who are dependent upon others. Dependency is the hey you freedom. Is the hey you freedom. How can anyone who is dependent upon others or anything else for happiness, success, etc., ever control their own destiny? Such a thing is impossible. A convicted felon sitting on death row who has come to accept their faith, find religion and peace within themselves, may attempt to convince themselves that they are in control. However, the reality is that with their freedom being in the hands of others, their level of control is obviously limited. Be a master, never a slave. Okay, so family, that is the introduction in the preface. Tomorrow I will get into the next chapters of being a leader. And yeah, so just letting you guys know, this is the book we're reading. Hopefully you liked it, the intro and the preface, and we will be continuing chapters after this tomorrow. So if you guys like that, please comment. Yeah, you like the readings, you like, it's having this little book reading thing. And family, start reading books for yourselves, because understand it is fun to mental. And Spirit says right now, to enhance our spiritual gifts, we need to educate ourselves so that the messages that we give could be more profound, and so that we could truly dive and tap into our Akashic records, because everything that we're reading, we already know within ourselves. It's just time for us to tap into it and bring it out. Okay. All right, family. I love you guys, and I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day.